Hi, what's up, apes? Lady apes, gentlemen apes, this is ApeAndy. Yeah, the video before the last, I was just explaining a Chinese poem. That Chinese poem was about infighting between brothers. So afterwards, I had several comments asking me to explain another poem, another Chinese poem. And I don't know why everyone was naming the same poem. Hey, ApeAndy, explain this poem. And I read the comments. They're all pointing to the same exact poem by Loop Ring CEO. Okay, that poem has been posted on Twitter in Mandarin characters, in Chinese characters by Loop Ring CEO. Right. I have to explain the Loop Ring CEO poem, right? Well, he didn't write the poem. The poem was from Tang Dynasty. That's hundreds of years ago in Chinese history. Okay, so the poem read in Mandarin is 十年磨一剑，霜刃未曾试，今日把君示，谁有不平事? Okay, so the first sentence is 十年磨一剑. 十 is 10. Year is, well, 年 is year. 磨 is to sharpen. 一剑, 一 is one, 剑 is sword. It takes 10 years for me to sharpen my sword. 十年磨一剑. Okay? So that's the first sentence. And so apparently this poem is about a swordsman. Well, the name of this poem is Swordsman, 剑客. The name of the poem is Swordsman. Okay, now let's move on to the second sentence. 霜刃未曾试. Okay, this very sharp knife has not been tested before. 霜刃 is this sharp knife. 未 has not yet been. 未曾 is has not yet been. 试 tested. This sharp sword has not been tested as of yet. The sharp sword that I took 10 years to sharpen. Okay, that's the second sentence. 霜刃未曾试. The sharp sword, sharp knife, sharp blade, dagger has not been tested as of yet. That's the second sentence. Third sentence. 今日把君示. Today is 今日. 今日 is today. 把君示. 把 is take it out. 君示. 君 is you. You the viewer. You the person reading this poem or watching the sword. Jun is you. Okay? Jun in ancient Chinese history means emperor. So that means I respect you as much as I respect emperors. Jun is you. Shi is show. 今日把君示. Today, 今日把君示, I show you my sword. Okay? That's the third sentence. 今日把君示. Today I show you my sword. Okay. Now, I repeat so that you understand more, all right? So, 谁有不平事 is the fourth sentence, okay? 谁 is who. Who. 有不平事 has. 有 is has. 不平事 unsettled businesses. So, this fourth sentence means, now that I show you my sword, is there anything that I can do for you? Are there any help that you need? Are there anything unfair that you see that you need my help with? Okay, that's the fourth sentence. 谁有不平事? Okay. So, now, the person who wrote this poem his name is Jia Dao. Okay, that's the name of the person who wrote this poem, the true person who existed in Tang Dynasty. He wrote this poem. Now, why did he write this poem? Now, to explain the poem, you need to explain the person who wrote the poem and the background that he lived in. Now, Mr. Jia Dao is a person who lived in the Tang Dynasty. He's a very poor guy. He comes from a poor family. And at that time, the social environment, like Wall Street, is very corrupt, very corrupt. All the official businessmen are corrupt, are rich, filthy corrupt. And the common people are very poor like Jia Dao. Okay, so he's very angry at the corruption. Like we retail are angry with the corruption in Wall Street now, right? Okay, so. And Mr. Jia Dao loves poem. He likes to write poem. He studies very hard, okay? So this was the circumstances of how he wrote the poem, okay? He likes poem. Mr. Jia Dao likes poem very much. So one day he goes to his friend's house, knock on the door, and the friend is not there, okay? So to leave a message on the friend's door, he wrote a poem on the friend's door. And then he left. And when he walked home, he's still thinking about the poem. How should I make the poem better? How should I make the poem better? So he was walking, looking at the ground and thinking about how to revise his poem that he left on his friend's door. And then this was in the city of Chang'an. The city is called Chang'an. And then as he was walking, thinking about the poem and not looking where he was going, boom, he bumped into someone. He bumped into Mr. Han Yu. Okay. And so Mr. Jia Dao and Mr. Han Yu became very good friends. Okay. And so they studied together, they go to exam together. And so, yeah, so they went to exams together, but then he tried to take examinations to go into the government, because in ancient China, to become a civil servant, you have to take exams, pass the exam, then you can go into the government and work for the emperor and try to make things better, because Mr. Jia Dao is very angry at the corruption, right? Remember? Okay, so he wanted to make the society better. He wants to pass the exam, but it took a long time, and he was very unhappy with his exam results. He is so unhappy that he thinks that people don't like him because he is a guy with such ambition and wanting to change things. And so later on, after many years of failing at exams to try to enter the government, he wrote the poem, Swordsman. So again, the poem is 十年磨一剑. It takes 10 years for me to sharpen and produce my sword. 霜刃未曾试. This sharp sword, this sharp dagger, has not been tested yet. 今日把军示. Today I show you my sharp sword. 谁有不平事? Do you have anything that I can help you with? Any unfair issues that you think you had been dealt with and you need help with? Then I can help you with it, with my sword. Well, analysts of poems say that, so Mr. Jia Dao is unhappy with the society, unhappy with his exam results. So he wrote this poem called 剑客 Swordsman in order to show his anger and show his feelings towards the unfair environment, unfair society at that time. That's the explanation of the poem itself. Now, why did Loop Ring CEO post the poem? It's up to you to decipher that, okay? So it's getting to be 9 minutes. Don't want to get beyond 10 minutes. So yeah, Wall Street is corrupt. Well, regulatory bodies are doing too many things to right the unfair situation that retail investors are facing. Wall Street up there, common people here. See, this is the structure of the population. The top elites, we're the common people, okay? So it's unfair. But I love you always.